Hi, this is Fred Barstein, the editor-in-chief at 401k TV, and I'm here today with Hugh Toole, who is the managing director of Viability Advisory Group, which is a new unit of MassMutual. And we're here to talk about, presenting benefits to the CFO in a way that they can understand, and maybe in a way that they'll be able to pay a little bit more attention and give more resources to their retirement plan. So a little bit about what Viability AG does. Why don't you explain that and how the process works?
Sure. Real quickly, it's a pretty straightforward process. We look at a lot of the current industry tools provided by the best providers in the industry, and it's called retirement readiness. So we actually know for a population how ready each employee is. What I did is I then converted that to an expected retirement age,
Right.
based on the readiness. Then we just took the marginal cost of, say, a 37-year-old worker to a 64-year-old worker. We combined that with the expected age of retirement, and we created a potential financial liability for the CFO to look at. But I didn't want to give people bad news. So we then looked at industry techniques that come out of behavioral finance and a number of very simple funding techniques to implement, and we can show how much of that potential liability disappears if you just use some of those very simple tools.
So in other words, what you were doing is if the CFO only cared about the costs and didn't see the value,
Sure.
normally and rightfully, they're like, let's get the lowest cost plan. Let's have the lowest cost funds. And, fees in the absence of value are always high.
Right.
So what you're showing is if you don't have a good plan that helps people to retire, it does affect the viability and the liability on that. So
Exactly.
let's talk a little bit about, we don't want to leave people with a problem and not
Right.
have a solution. Is there the opportunity without much cost,
Right.
liability, or work for companies to improve their plan, and how do they do that?
Absolutely. I would say the industry for the last decade, while everybody was almost solely focused on price and fiduciary responsibility, at the same time, the industry was creating incredible techniques to use behavioral finance to that employee's advantage. So I would argue, and the data actually proves this out, that if you implement things such as auto-enrollment, auto-deferral increase, stretch a match, you can use employee funding with no real great increase in employer expense and seriously create a huge improvement in financial wellness for the employee, which ultimately reduces that liability to the employer.
So at TPSU, our affiliate company, the Plan Sponsor University, where we're doing 50 to 60 programs a year, we teach about the ideal plan, which incorporates a lot of the behavioral finance techniques of auto-enrollment and deferring at the right amount, right?
Right.
Because if you defer too low, it can actually be worse, right?
Absolutely.
And what are the implications of having too low a deferral rate without escalating?
Well, you're just kind of stuck. You almost are leaving the employee with the belief that they are on track for retirement, when in reality, they would be more honest with themselves to just not contribute at all and realize they're never going to retire.
Right.
So it really is between the employer, their consultant, their advisor, setting up the structure so that the normal apathy of an American consumer works to their advantage. So, I actually was working on a bank recently, and due to, I would say, subpar consulting, they auto-enrolled at 1%. That's exactly to your point, Fred. They would have been better off not doing anything. So we're working with them through these techniques to get them up to a minimum of auto-enrolling at 3%, but ideally they should auto-enroll at 6%.